Good evening and welcome back to West Talk. This is the 7th season of West Talk, and today is Tuesday, September the 12th. I hope you guys all had a great summer. I know I did. I certainly miss being in the studio here and having the chance to talk to Western Newfoundland on a weekly basis, and maybe you missed hearing me. Oh no, you didn't. You got those great reruns all summer on Channel 9 and the TV Guide. Yes, I was there for you. Guys, very excited to be back with another season. We've got a lot of interesting guests that are going to be coming to you every Tuesday night from here on out. And last season we started doing a thing where we began each episode by introducing you to a book written by a Newfoundland author, help them get a little extra bump. And we decided to keep that going. So before I reveal our guests for this week, we're going to talk about this book by Mitchell D. King called She Said. Mia Kennedy is a student at Holy Spirit High School with a loving family and a large group of friends. Robert Harris is a divorced trucker who works long and tough hours on the road, alone and desolate. Following one fateful night at a bar on George Street, the two become entangled in a forbidden relationship. Mia accuses Robert of 4 occurrences of sexual assault, and their relationship is dissected and put under a microscope during a 3-week trial. Is their union born out of love, false pretenses, violations spanning several years? She Said offers an intimate look into both Mia and Robert, the people in their lives who helped shape who they are and how they came to a 3-week trial at the Supreme Court of Newfoundland and Labrador. So another sort of suspenseful love novel here. And, I find we show you all kinds of books. I find that no matter what type of book you're into, no matter what style, if it's horror or romance or whatever, when there's a Newfoundland twist on it, it just sort of makes it a little bit more relatable and enjoyable to read. So check out She Said at wherever you get your fine books here in Newfoundland. All right, intro's out of the way. Over the summer, some cool stuff happened in Western Newfoundland. We saw some businesses close, we saw some businesses open, and can you believe that we now have 2 brand new food and beverage establishments right here in Western Newfoundland that both opened up since the last season of West Talk. And today we're going to be speaking to both proprietors of both of these venues. First with me now in the studio, somebody I've become great friends with over the last few years. We've worked on some big projects together, and now he takes on his big hometown project with the opening of the newest restaurant in Corner Brook, I guess we can say, Park West. And here to chat that up today, my man, Adam Bshop.
Hello, everybody.
Adam, good to see you, man. Congratulations on the big opening.
Good to be here.
Thank you for inviting the wife and I down to the soft launch.
No, my pleasure.
That was really cool.
Wouldn't do it any other way.
Yeah, I was like, it's a soft opening, so it's going to be a little bit rusty.
Yeah.
It wasn't, man. It was, you guys really put it on right away.
Thank you.
And
that was the intention?
That was the intention. And yeah. I kind of knew that this was going to be a different situation because we got to take that trip to Halifax together in May. Mm-hmm. And so for the viewer at home, Adam and I were in Halifax at a time when Adam was doing R&D, and he was, looking for some inspiration on some things. And the big thing that you kept saying everywhere we went, the thing you would point to was service. Did you see that? Did you notice that? Service. Did you see how she did that?
All the little things matter, Dustin.
Yeah.
All the little things matter.
Yeah. And now being today, went down there for a little lunch today, I can see it's really fun to see how you've implemented all those little things. And, anybody who goes and sits at Park West now for lunch or supper, you can't help but notice the little touches. So I think that's awesome, and I want to talk more about what is going on there, but I want to talk about you a little bit first.
What do you want to know?
Right? Well, I want to know, what's going on? Where's this, handsome chef come from that nobody's seen here in the last 20 years, and everybody's hearing all about it?
Flattery will get you nowhere in the show, let me tell you.
Well, even, I found it when I met you. I was like, how have I not met this guy, And,
I think it's our age gap.
I think so, but also you were
okay. Yeah, but I was gone for some time.
Yeah, so talk about that.
I grew up in Corner Brook, but I left at 18, moved to Scotland, and then returned for a season, a summer, when I was about 20, after living a couple of years in the UK. Then decided, in my time in the UK, I decided I wanted to be a chef. And I'd been cooking before that. I started cooking when I was about 12, actually. And then when I went to the UK, my girlfriend's father at the time basically said, "What are you doing? You should be in go to culinary school because all you do is cook and all you do is talk about food and all you want to do is eat." And I never really thought of it as a career, but then I went ahead with it, and I ended up going to PEI to go to the Culinary Institute of Canada.
Yeah.
Where I did a 6-month program. It was actually a year program, but you have to do 6 months and then an internship where I went to Toronto.
Yep.
Worked at this really cool French bistro place. And then I came back to finish my 6 months and went back to Toronto. And ended up working at a really cool restaurant there called Canoe, which is probably top 10 in the country now.
That's like a world famous restaurant.
Yeah, definitely top 10 in the country for sure. And that was a long time ago, but now it's booming again. Yeah.
So, and then I know you were some other places over the years, you know, you're in like the Caribbean for a little bit or close by there.
So then after Toronto, I ended up in Montreal for some time.
Yeah.
And then
working there?
Yeah, as a sous chef there in Montreal at a restaurant called L'Inconnu, which was opened by a French chef friend of mine. And then in that time, I got an opportunity to be a private chef down in the Bahamas for 11 years.
Ooh.
Well, let's say a private chef down in the Bahamas, and then my time there lasted 11 years.
Wow.
And in that time, I got to meet some really interesting characters from, I was cooking for sports figures, super wealthy people, working on their yachts, working in their homes, traveling to Europe to work in their homes, working their yachts, traveling through America, through like New York, Miami, Dallas.
So this is the type of person who just... They don't make themselves breakfast in the morning.
They don't make themselves. They don't make themselves breakfast. No. So and through that, I got to learn a lot, elevate my cuisine levels from being exposed to so much as well, and working with different people. So I've had certainly a rounded background in the culinary scene. Yeah,
I guess in that experience, you must have found yourself like cooking in a lot of not unusual places, but a lot of different environments from like, maybe you're on a yacht, maybe you're in a house, maybe you're on the road.
Maybe I was on a beach, maybe I was on the top of a mountain, and still having to execute at the same level. Yeah. So it was
pretty cool.
Yeah. So obviously it adds a little level of diversity into your style. Yeah. And then after that, I ended up in London, England.
Why'd you go back there?
My business partner and I, who's a gentleman from London, we were going to open up a restaurant chain in London, England. Right. So I spent a year and a half working on that. Moved to the UK, and a little word we don't talk about anymore. Maybe had me return, and so I came back to visit some family, and essentially remembered how much I love Newfoundland and decided to stay. Yeah. I also met a woman, and that also helps seal the deal. Yeah. And so things started to happen pretty fast once you got back home. Yes, and I always sort of knew that if I ever returned to Cornbrook for any reason, that I'd want to open a restaurant. Yeah. And it's funny, I didn't think it would be Park West specifically, but now the concept has developed itself. Yeah. Well, opportunity knocked. It very much did. And so now Park West is just opened over this summer. The viewer at home may have historically known this location as Sorrento's. Yes, for sure. They were operating for 27 years. Yeah, and did a great job. Oh, incredible. Yeah. So how did that, how did those discussions go in the early days when you were, identified that, hey, this could be a location for us? So basically my business partner, Lloyd Nash, who lives in the St. John's area, was presented about purchasing the business, and he doesn't know much about the restaurant industry, but he knew he's got an affiliation with Cornbrook as his wife is from here, so he's back and forth pretty consistently. Yeah. And we've become quite friendly since I've returned back to Newfoundland. So essentially, he was like, "Dude, let's open this restaurant that you've been talking about for some time." And he's like, "I only want to do it if you're involved." So we talked a little further into it, and I said, "Okay." I was like, "Let's do it," but it's my concept, and he was happy to move forward with it, and that's how Park West created. Wow. Yeah. So, and Lloyd, your partner you mentioned, he's got, I think you just said, he's got like a seafood background. They work in like they have a seafood enterprise or brokerage. Well, he's a commercial real estate agent out in the East Coast, but he's also a seafood merchant, and he's got a license and a license for, he loves the seafood industry. He's originally from Branch. Yeah. So he grew up in that world. Yeah. Proper Bayman. Yeah, it's Proper Bayman. So one thing I've heard, like, because of your location now, right there on Park Street and West Street, it seems like you're starting to catch some of this cruise ship business. Like I was down there today, and you hear a few accents and things, which is neat. Yeah. And something that keeps coming up is people are talking about your lobster roll and like your oysters and seafood. And in the context of, we came into Cornerbrook today expecting to be inundated with fresh seafood, and we couldn't find it anywhere. Yeah. So how big of a factor was that whole thing when you decided to?
you get 12 items on your menu. You got to pick.
It was massive.
Yeah.
I certainly see, since I've been back, I think there's been a gap in the market in terms of what seafood offer there is in our restaurant scene in Corner Brook.
Yeah.
So that's something I jumped on instantly.
Yeah.
It was a no-brainer. We have oysters now that they're cultivating in Newfoundland, 4 different varietals.
They're the best.
The entire east coast of Canada has got beautiful, beautiful sea salt briny oysters. So that was an easy one. Lobster rolls. I mean,
it's a seasonal thing, right?
Seasonal thing, but the entire eastern seaboard is just littered with lobster rolls, and obviously they're a hot seller. And lobster is obviously such a beautiful product.
But the only place to get a lobster roll in Corner Brook was Subway.
Historically,
exactly, right? Like the proper one.
So even with the price point, it's unreal. I mean, think about it. When I was in London, to buy lobster in London, it would cost you about £100.
For like a cooked whole lobster.
Yeah, so what's that, $260?
Holy.
Just to buy one lobster.
Wow.
And we're used to buying it at Murphy Square, sometimes for $5.
Yeah.
Right? So I saw that as an opportunity, certainly to be had. And then obviously we have a tuna tartare on our dish, which I think we're blessed to have bluefin, jumping out of our waters.
Yeah, so this is another thing to talk about, right? So for people who've known you and they're following the Adam Bshop arc here as he comes back to Newfoundland, a lot of people are surprised to know, because the food coming out of the kitchen there is next level, right? Like, people will go down and find out the food is exceptional, but then they see you out on the deck and they're like, hang on, who's cooking this food?
Yeah.
So talk about that.
Well, you can't do it all yourself.
Right.
No one can do it by themselves. So I knew I needed a strong chef de cuisine who would be able to control my kitchen when I'm not there. Because when you run a business, you can't be there 24/7.
Yeah.
And you certainly can't be in a small little kitchen 24/7. Yeah. So I knew I needed a strong team member. So I reached out to somebody who I'd become acquainted to since I've been back in Newfoundland, a gentleman named Connor O'Brien, who's originally from Oakville, Ontario.
He had a thing on the go before his own?
He did at Bootleg. He had, two things. He had Crumb and Pickle, which was an operation in St. John's, which was a wicked little vegan pop-up operation. Yeah. And then he also, when he came to Corner Brook some time ago, he did a little pop-up at Bootleg called West Side Creations, or West End Creations. Yeah. He's a fabulous chef. And again, I'm so happy to have him. And we basically spearhead this menu together. I definitely said you can be as creative as you like, and we just bounce ideas off each other, and that's how you build a good product.
And that focuses you to really look at these meta details of making this a next level food joint in Corner Brook.
Yeah, and it gives me the opportunity to see not just the kitchen side of things, to see the service side of things, and build our business and take time to research new ideas. Right? So it's been a great partnership, and he's been a great addition to our team.
I love it. Everything that I've seen come out of there has been amazing. Adam, we got just a couple seconds left. So what do you want to say? What invite would you give to the community now, Western Newfoundland? Invite them down.
Yeah, well, basically our patio, we built this beautiful 1,600-foot patio on the backside of Park Street. So if you don't see it as you're going to Park Street, on the opposite side there in the trees, we have this beautiful patio. We're only operating the patio at the moment. We've renovated the inside, or we're in the middle of renovations at the moment. We hope to have them concluded by end of October. Yep. Beautiful design in place. It's going to look absolutely gorgeous. So come down to the patio at the time being, even if it's cooler. We have heaters, we have blankets, wear a sweater. People in the rest of the world eat outside all the time, regardless of the weather. Yep. So I think Newfoundlanders should do the same.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for coming down here today.
Thank you.
And to the folks of Western Newfoundland, check out Park West, and we'd love to get you back when you fully open on the inside as well, and we can talk about that then.
I would love to be back.
Awesome. Stay right there. We're going to be back and introduce you to another entrepreneur who's just opened a great establishment in Western Newfoundland. Stay tuned. And we're back. And like I mentioned off the top, not one, but 2 exciting new venues have opened up here in Western Newfoundland since our last season of West Talk. And we just chatted with Adam Bshop, who's part of Park West here in Corner Brook, but also very excited to have with us today the owner and proprietor of Piker's Place, legendary West Coast barman, Mr. Greg Pike. Thanks for coming down, buddy.
No problem. Thanks for the intro, by the way.
Yeah, no problem, man. I mean, I could spend 10 minutes introducing you, really, right? Yeah. You're an iconic character over here, and I know so many people are really proud to see that you've taken the step forward now and got your own joint on the go.
Yeah, well, like I said, it did take some time. I've been at this for 20 years and ran some fun establishments for good friends of mine over the years, and I mean, I guess this business plan itself, I think, I spawned from my prior business. There was Rona Rock.
Yeah, and you've been in this building before.
So I mean, for years, and I worked for Newfoundland Adventures there, and I worked for the Butts and Georges up there for off and on. So I've been back and forth that building. So it kind of always got in my head about doing something in Steadybrooke. And as a Steadybrooker myself, going on 30 years or more, we needed a place to go, like a local. We all love Marble. Marble Inn is there as well, but it wasn't that pub feel. You know what I mean? Like you need like a Cheers, you know, kind of. You know, like
everybody knows your name. Yeah.
And I'm finding, since you were a little diner after highway, the same way George got his start, fried truck actually, or fried, not a truck at the time. Yeah. So I mean, it's a little off highway diner, and it's there's some characters coming back and forth. So it is pretty neat to see actually.
It is neat to see. And just to paint the full picture now for the viewer at home, Greg has opened a new restaurant and bar in the sort of main parking lot there of the Georgia Ski World area. There's been a building that's, I guess, been like vacant for how long?
I think the last business he said was probably on like Rona Rock about 10, 12 years ago. And that's what kind of really kind of pushed me to do it, because it's a beautiful building. It's almost a standalone little red brick building, and everyone seems to know where the liquor store was, but they never seemed to know where this building is. I was like 18 feet away from the liquor store, but I guess there are more important things to do. But this little building, there's a lot of different things over the years, from a food and vegetable stand. I think it was built in '78. I think we come to find out an arcade, the mini putt, which is obviously everyone keeps wanting me to bring it back. And like people walk in thinking this mini putt is not, but they can have a beer. It's just no putt kind of thing. Right? But anyway, so I got to be like friends of mine would come in. It was a really cool, cozy building, little fireplace in there. Anyway, the point is, at the end of the day, I guess people go to the liquor store that's there, coffee shop that's there. And when I was cleaning up at the end of the day, like after the guiding day, I was like, I was selling the stuff in these recycling bags here in the garbage, and they got make a go with a business here, right? I mean, so I was seeing that, and so myself and Steve talked a few times, kind of thing, a lot of times over the last 10, 12 years. But then he approached me 5 years ago, and he was super serious. He was going to renovate, and he wanted me to, continue on what we were talking about. But of course, thank God we didn't do a thing as the pandemic hit.
Would have been nailed.
I was just started at Westgate, and I was having a great time down there, and Rona Rock was still popping for me, so it just wasn't the right timing. So I think in any business, the right timing is everything. I was ready.
But let's talk about, like, so you've been involved in a lot of things. You've been in the the finance business. You've been in tourism. You've worked in other things. But throughout all that, you've also been like the man in Corner Brook who you can find like a steady bartender over the years. And a lot of the venues want it. We're trying to get you to work there. And then people who are going out love to be around when you're serving. What is it about this racket, man, that you love so much, and like why?
I don't know. So why do someone become a doctor? You almost feel like you're driven towards it. And I'm a social guy, I like to think. I think a lot of motivation was also I love to ski, and like behind a desk 9 to 5. Kind of so essentially
just the hours are good.
I kind of start helping friends out over the bars, and I was like, hey man, like I'm making good money, and I'm skiing every day, so just kind of. And then you get caught, and then you find the right people, like Martin Flynn. When Martin Flynn's got his with the zip-line guy, and he started Flynn's, he's right fit at the time, and I think over the years, and McHugh, and I'm with Dave McHugh, and with McHugh's Pub, and Goose, I think it just had a.
You're in Goose Bay too?
Right? Well, I was like,
when they bought that bar?
Pub was I was out there helping open that one, so I kind of learned over the years how to where to get the start, I guess.
You've basically like worked in or ran pretty much every like respectable club in the area over the years, Yeah,
at least been around or involved with, for sure, right? And, I think it all spawned from my dad's basement bar we had, and when I grew up in Cornwall till I was like 15, 16. I was always like. Got me serving drinks for his clients and friends, and not drinking it, but and I was just always in his beautiful, cool basement bar in our rec room.
Well set up and everything.
It was just, and I was always there, and I was always like, me, I'd like to throw a party, and I was always entertaining. So my friends would come over, I'd be making mocktails behind the bar, and I think it just stayed with me, I guess, right? And just. Before I did this, I probably read every bartending book known to man, and just fit the lifestyle. And I think the biggest motivation to push for Piker's Place was. I used to like the late nights, and I started when I was 23. I'm not 23 anymore.
No.
So 20-something years later, do the math, I just was ready to not get home at 5 or 6 in the morning. And even there, that's not on a party, you're just home, and all of a sudden you're waking up at 2:30, 3 o'clock. So I think the lifestyle change was the big motive push for this. I was always going to do it, but after last summer, I was just like, I need to get away from the late nights.
So this is, and I think this seems to be like the really cool thing about doing your own thing. Right now, you're still seeing all the same people, right? A lot of the same people you would have saw working at the Westgate or whatever. But you're open 11 to 11.
Yeah.
Right? Wicked hours. You're open every single day, so it's just consistent. You know what's going on.
And there's different. I think most places I work is after 3, so the vibe before that's such a different thing, and it's more of, I guess, almost like a licensed highway down or lounge field, and it is a bar, I guess, or you know what I mean. So it's a bit of things for everyone, and I can have kids there till about 7, and then so that dynamic changes, and
really? I didn't even realize that.
I miss a lot of my local, like, you know, the guys in the norms of the world running in front of me all the time. But it's funny because I'm developing a lot of regulars up there, and Marblewood Village up there, they do a lot of long-term stays for like, the guys building the Sobeys and the hospital guys. So there's guys there that they're literally like every day. They become really good buddies now, and they love it, right? So I have a little place to go even for themselves, and the local communities come out and help and support it as well.
Yeah. One thing I love when I went in there, you said that basically you have like as many chairs as is your capacity kind of thing, right? Like this is how you want to focus on doing a great job for this many people exactly.
Well, I think running Westgate for Chris Barry, I mean, I learned a lot from him, and being in that size building is a very similar setup, but I just wanted more of that style, like more lounge, sit down, and like more of like camaraderie and have a chat like this kind of thing. And I built the chairs lower and for reasons that they spin around. So like I'm watching now because all the tourism are actually guys from New York and other guys from and there you could see the camaraderie and that was the whole purpose of it.
I didn't even realize that.
And then like just the efficiency of the numbers. I mean, you know what I mean. So I mean, you can jam 60 in there, but serving 30 is more efficient for the people that are coming in and the bartender serving and the bar itself and the kitchen and all that. So
30 people in there is like a party on there.
No, it is, but and it's cool different dynamics, right? So I mean, there's a family and then not so family people, but they all kind of and just it's been fun. I got to say, I'm looking forward now to getting into the winter and getting a different kind of perspective. And
well, ski season should be really interesting for you there.
Yeah, for sure.
And everybody knows that you're a man who can mix a nice drink, cocktail, whatever it is they want. But one thing that surprised me big time was to go in there and the type of food that's coming out, man. It's really tasty and it's affordable and it's like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and that's because I'm not making it.
I know. So what's the big? So what do you got going on here?
Chris Columbus is name, and then he actually had the Burrito Brothers food truck in town for a couple of years off and on there. And I just met him because he's a regular at Westgate, and we just got to talking. And I know he was thinking of get away from that business, and he was looking for something more permanent and stuff. And I said, well, man, he was thinking about going out, like offshore or whatever. I was like, well, I can't give you offshore money, but I can, do something.
Give you a good lifestyle.
Give you a good lifestyle and learn a lot from you. And I think we are that vibe of, a good bartender and a good chef. So he's been a big reason of the success I'm having. And so he's loving it, and he's got some cool things coming through the winter now and stuff. So
it seems like, what's sort of the food vibe there? Like when I go in, it seems like it's kind of inspired daily,
before
weekly.
I met Chris, I guess I had to do it simple because I would like, like that's why there's 2 simple sandwiches of meat, 2 meats and a vegetable, and a simple charcuterie boards that even like myself could do. And I had a couple of friends like Morgan from Bootleg and Nathan up at Pollination were going to spend some time with me before I opened and kind of give me some simple recipes if I had to do it myself. But I just lucked out that I got Chris, and I don't have to worry about it. I was like, man, the kitchen's yours. You run it, and what he's putting out all the time is absolutely phenomenal.
It's good stuff, man. I had...
and we switch it up week to week, and he's there. I give him Tuesdays off, and forcefully, he'd rather work. I said, no, man, you need a break. And so other than Tuesday, his stuff is there, but on a Monday, he'll make me some quesadillas or like
set you up a little bit.
Set me up a little bit, so I don't have to do it all myself. And I'm doing pop-ups now to Newfound Sushi and hopefully Cafe 59 and
the
trying to
sushi,
do that.
So what do you get? Thursdays, Fridays?
Thursdays at 6 p.m. Get Chris a little earlier, and so you can go to his baseball games, and then I'll just keep it going because like Chris is done at 7 any other day, and like the weekends will stay longer. But I just wanted some other options, and there's people coming after 7 to do that, right? So now we're doing spinach chips and nachos after 7 for like a little bar menu. It's kind of consistency. Man. So if you come off the highway and late night check-in at George's Cabbage, you can at least get something.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's a lot of cool stuff going on there. I think the location's good. I think the winter is going to be.
Oh man, I think the winter is going to be just different. Because the summer I actually had no idea because it's just in and out, and people are just it's that kind of vibe, right? It's, But no, the winter is. I just think there's a built-in market there from the snowmobilers, and a lot of people that probably haven't been there yet just because families are in baseball or traveling, so we'll see them around the winter, and come out the trails right there. So.
And you don't expect, like you think now you'll just be straight through the winter. Are you looking at any downtime in the fall?
I think a lot of my push for the 7 days a week is after being a bartender, like weekends, I get Mondays and Tuesdays off, and a lot of restaurants, you understand, the smaller places. I was like, man, like when you're after hobby, it was more of a year-round tourist destination, so why take a day off? Like, I work a lot. I know I got several, like 7 or 8 bartenders, so rotated kind of thing. So, but it's important to do 7. Yes, maybe I will in November. I may take a week off, but
I do find it hard to recover. Like once you start having weird hours and you close down for a bit.
I
It's
thought I would, but I think the day after I left Westgate, I think I was right back to the in bed by 12, up at 8, which is it was just something I used to go to bed at 8 kind of thing. So it really flip-flop, but I'm actually really enjoying it. Now there is some later nights these days. I mean, but still, I think the latest I've been home in bed is like 2 o'clock. You know, like I've done a regular night now.
So are you becoming like a morning person now?
People know it's probably out later some nights, but
Are you a morning person yet, or?
If 10 a.m. is morning, 10, 11 a.m. I mean,
Yes,
that's before 12. I guess I'm more of a morning person. Yeah.
I love it, man. Hey, listen, it's all about creating the life that you want for yourself
and that's
now,
just
right?
it. And I mean, it takes work to get there, but living your dream is a lot of fun. So I do promote people to do that.
I don't
take the
think,
chance and work at it. Yeah.
I don't think you can say it any better than that. And it looks like that's all the time we got for this interview. So what invite do you want to extend to the people of Western Newfoundland to come see you down at Piker's Place?
Well, come have a nice drink, a cocktail, some great beer, and some really, really unique, phenomenal food. And
good company.
It is a nice place to go. Yeah.
And you won't see them stuck for a conversation if they're by themselves, right?
This thing is that's not my issue, though.
It's a great place too, and I say that seriously. Being on the highway, it's a lot of people are traveling by themselves.
Yeah.
Piker's just seems like a great place to just pull in by yourself, have a good chat. Yeah. You know what I mean, and have fun for a few minutes and go. Yeah, there's always a story. There's going to be another character there.
There's more locals than I thought, so it's almost like an episode of Cheers kind of thing. It's nice. Yeah.
It really is, man. Well, thanks a lot for coming down today.
Yeah, thank you.
Get back down there now. I know you're busy.
I'm actually at the Park West for the first time. I was just saying to Adam, I finally got in. This is a good reason to do that. So I'm going to go check them out.
And that's the cool thing about this episode as well, is I know both of you guys have and continue to support each other in what you're doing.
Well, I guarantee you'll see collaboration between the two of us. We've already talked about it. So.
Yeah, you're just doing amazing things. You're doing different things.
It's working together, right? So.
Yeah, it's perfect. So thanks very much, man.
Right.
And that was it from our man, Mr. Greg Pike. Make sure to go down and check him out down at Piker's Place in Steadybrook. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back to wrap this episode up. Stay tuned. And that's it for our episode today. So good to be back in the studio with you, and I'll be back again next Tuesday. Don't forget to go check out She Said at a fine Newfoundland book retailer near you. And most importantly, get yourself out and check out two of the newest venues in Western Newfoundland, Park West down there on Park Street in Corner Brook, and Piker's Place up in Steadybrook on the George's parking lot. You might even see me there. That's it for this week. We'll see you next Tuesday on another episode of West Talk.
Comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media.
Was that 4 or 5? He's lost count and still thinks he can drive. Do you think he knows that when he is caught and charged with impaired driving, he'll lose his license and a lot more? If he gets in his car, he'll face costs exceeding $20,000. Does he realize he could have a criminal record for his choice to drive? And it could be much worse if he crashes. I wonder what he'll be thinking tomorrow.
Have a Holden one at 15.
Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive sober.
Sports fans know Sundays are for football. That's why you need NFL Sunday tickets. With NFL Sunday Ticket, you'll get every live game, every Sunday afternoon, all season long. Follow your favorite teams and players live in HD. Order NFL Sunday Ticket and get up to 200 regular season games. Say NFL Sunday Ticket into your voice remote.
We can be hurt. We can be bruised. We can be broken. Slowed down, confused, and even numbed. But we can't be defeated. We're built on a foundation that's strong.